Yes, Kenya. Tamu sana, yes. Calls for a rotational presidency is gathering momentum. A group of professionals from Mwingi County, dubbed Mwingi Professionals Forum, is now calling for a rotational presidency. Amend Constitution to allow for rotational presidency. Munyambo. And if you go through that story, it says, Kenyans need to amend the constitution in order to pave way for rotational presidency. This will see each of the over 40 tribes in the country getting an equal chance of leading the country. These sentiments have been put across by Mwingi Professional Forum coordinator Campbell Munyambu, who has called for a review of the constitution to pave way for this clause. And then is quoted as saying this: Kenyans should seriously think about amending the constitution to allow for rotational presidency. It is morally wrong to have only 2 tribes being at the top leadership. And then it continues, Rift Valley and Central Kenya have held the presidency for a total of 60 years. This should not be allowed to continue because they will always be the regions that are developed while other parts of the country suffer, Munyambo pointed out. Yes. In this video, I want us to dig deep into that story to see what it means politically and what it portends for the country. If you are watching us for the very first time, kindly subscribe, give this video a like. Yes, those sentiments by Mwingi Professionals Forum are resonating very well with a good majority of Kenyans, only that Kenyans do not want to come out and talk about some of these things. But I know quite a good majority actually approve of those sentiments by that Mwingi Professionals Forum. And if you look at it objectively, it's actually true that Kenya has only been ruled by 2 communities since independence, the Kikuyus and the Kalenjins. And it appears that they are very keen on just rotating power between themselves. And I'm saying that because if you look at the Kenya Kwanza structure, it's somehow obvious and automatic that upon William Ruto exiting the political stage, most likely William Ruto's successor in Kenya Kwanza Alliance will come from the mountain. That's a fact. And then that trend will just continue that way till maybe Jesus comes back. So it's high time Kenyans have a look at their constitution and push for a possible amendments. We should have a situation where the next president should not come from the community of the incumbent or the previous president. If that is put in law, then most likely as time goes by, we might just find quite a good number of Kenyan communities ascending to the top seat. And this is a push that has been gaining momentum in the recent days. Some weeks back, there was also a concerned Kenyan who also petitioned IEBC for a possible referendum to amend the constitution to allow for a rotational presidency. So this is something that is actually gathering momentum. And personally, from where I see it, I support that kind of a suggestion in totality. And I'm saying that because even if you look at it from, if you look at it objectively, this aspect of power just rotating between 2 communities is actually just encouraging weak and bogus leaders. Because now if if maybe a leader comes from the Kalenjin community, then because the Kikuyus knows that upon the Kalenjin exiting power, the Kalenjin will support them, you'll find these Kikuyu communities, or this Kikuyu community, just supporting that Kalenjin leader, whether he is delivering or not. And the vice versa. If the Kalenjin knows that upon the Kikuyu exiting, then a Kalenjin will take over, then you'll also see these Kalenjins just supporting that Kikuyu candidate or president, whether he is delivering or not. And then the trend will just continue. So you'll just find that bogus and leaders who are not delivering are just being re-elected. And as that happens, then actually Kenyans are going to suffer more. Kenyans are suffering more. So to amend the constitution can cure that aspect of where now power just rotates between two communities. And that can also lead to Kenyans getting better leaders, leaders who can deliver, leaders who can perform. And Kenyans now will not be mobilized along ethnic lines. That's a wonderful suggestion that can cure the toxic ethnic kind of voting we are currently experiencing in Kenya. And also from another angle, all Kenyans are paying taxes. In fact, the 6 regions that feel they are left out of the government, of the top government leadership, if you do your mathematics pretty well, you'll realize that they even pay more taxes than these 2 regions. If you combine the kind of taxes they're paying, then you'll most likely find out that they are paying more taxes compared to what these 2 regions are paying. But now we are only seeing that development is being taken to these 2 regions that are producing the presidents. And I'm saying that because just some few days ago, Rigathi Gachagua made it very clear that they will not incorporate people who never voted for them in government. They'll first have to incorporate those who supported them and voted for them. Then after they've incorporated all these people who supported their bid, that's when they can now look at the areas that never voted for them. So it's a fact that Kenya, this aspect of 2 community rotating power between themselves, just concentrates development in only those areas that have power. So in actual sense, it's leading to marginalizing of those areas that have not produced the top leadership of the country. And also from that those remarks, I'm seeing a very high possibility where should the trend of 2 communities rotating power between themselves continue, then in the coming years, most likely we will have a rebellion. I'm seeing a very high possibility where these 2 communities will still try to hang on to power. And then these other Kenyan communities that feel they're always being left out of the government, they might gang up and now rebel against these 2 communities. And from where I see it, that will easily lead to a rebellion. It can lead to a bloodshed, which I don't think will be something very good for the country. Kenya is a very peaceful country, and we can iron out our differences as using the law, using the law. So that's a wonderful move that Kenyans should actually give a thought. Before I conclude, ladies and gentlemen, I also believe that by 2027 elections, if possible, the Azimio team or the opposition should make sure that, if possible, we have a referendum that stipulates that, or that we have a referendum that anchors that in the constitution, if possible, by 2027. And that will also just give Kenyans more hope and more enthusiasm in turning out in large numbers to cast their votes. If the trend continues, come 2027, it's almost certain that quite a good number of Kenyans might not even turn out to vote. They have already lost hope in the electoral systems. They believe that even if they vote, their votes will just be stolen. But in a situation where we have some that exchange of power rotating, or the presidency rotating, then it will actually lower down even that aspect of rigging of elections. Let me stop it there, ladies and gentlemen. But just as I did indicate when we were starting, if you are watching us for the very first time, subscribe, give this video a like. If you want to support our channel, I've pinned my number on the comment section. Contact me through the number, or feel free to channel any kind of support to the number. Let's meet in our next analysis. Thank you.